All right. Welcome to the episode 5 of Denim and Leather podcast. The great, for me, even legendary now for me, guitarist Jen Majura.
Oh God! Oh
me,
my
yes,
goodness!
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I follow you for years.
Oh, really? You do?
Yeah.
Wow! Thank you.
On social media. Yeah. Thank you for accepting my invitation. It was so spontaneous,
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So for the start of the podcast, I wanted to ask you, what's your, we'll get to the new tour that you're doing, but I want to ask you about your life, about your musical journey.
Oh, you don't want to know?
No. I know. How did you start? I know not everything, but I know some things. How did you start playing when you were a kid? Or?
Yeah. So my parents, I come from a musical family. My dad is a bass player. So for me personally, I never thought about becoming anything else like a vet or a pilot I never wanted to do anything else but music since I was a super small child. And I remember that my parents thought, might be a good idea to push our daughter and help her with her ambition to become a musician. So I took piano lessons at the age of 4. And I got kicked out of those piano lessons because I couldn't read sheets. So sheet music was something, it was just dots, By now I can read it and write it and everything. But as a child, I was like, what is this? So every single time my piano teacher would play something, I would just listen and repeat. It's just playing by ear is so much more important than playing sheet music, in my personal opinion, because you can be the greatest sheet music player with any instrument, but if you don't hear and connect with the music,
it doesn't mean that you're an artist if you are a sheet player and reader.
Well, yeah. And so at the age of 6, I decided that I would want to become an electric guitar player. My dad always pictured me as a piano player, classical piano player. And he was like, oh no, oh my God, now here. And I was so ambitious. And I remember the first song that I wanted to play was God Gave Rock and Roll to You by Kiss.
Oh, great.
For those of you who know the song, and for those of you who have a little understanding of music, this is probably one of the hardest songs that you could start playing an instrument with, especially guitar, with all the chords and stuff. And I was losing my mind. And as a child, I didn't have patience, which I tried to teach in my music school to my kids. You have to have patience. And if you continue for a longer amount of time playing slow, you'll be getting faster. Right? So, and I didn't have that patience. So at one point, actually in this very room, because I'm visiting my parents right now, so this is my childhood room here. And I had this little sofa all the way in the back, and I threw my guitar there. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
You were born in Germany, right? You were born in Germany.
Yes.
Your father is Thai, right?
My dad is from Thailand, yes. And he was touring Europe as a musician and met my mom, and they fell in love, and here's me.
Awesome.
And it took me 3 months until I was if so many people are capable of playing the guitar, why can't I just play guitar? And then I started sitting down and learning stuff and being more patient and ambitious and doing exercises on guitar and stuff. And that's pretty much how I got into electric guitar playing. And I remember one of my first favorite guitar players, it's sweet now because I was a kid, was Richie Sambora of the Back in the days Bon Jovi. Yes. And so I fell in love with that, and I completely played all the Bon Jovi tracks. And Bon Jovi is not a really hard music to play. The Slippery When Wet, New Jersey, that era. And then quickly I discovered bands like Kiss was a big influence for me. Those were monsters back in the days. You're a little child and you see that and the blood spitting and everything, and you're like, oh, these are monsters with guitars. I think John 5 once said that too.
I come from the same background as you. We are here around the same age. So in the 80s, when I was a kid, I loved that stuff also,
Right? Yeah. There was a certain kind of persona fascination about music back in the days that kids nowadays don't really have anymore because of all that white noise and the streaming and the overflow information. But back in the days, you would collect, like, you would buy a magazine, like a music magazine, just to find this little tiny piece of, picture, and you would cut it out. And I totally did that. And I loved Bon Jovi. I loved Kiss. Then pretty much shortly after that, I discovered Steve Vai, who is until this very day one of my favorite guitar players. Nuno Bettencourt of the band Extreme. And that pretty much developed me diving into this guitar world while everybody in school, my classmates, were listening to boy bands and shit. So nobody understood me. Everybody was like, she's the freak. Everyone was like, Jen the freak. And that's how I started playing,
Yeah, back then, Take That were huge in the boy bands, and we were like heavy metal against the, Guns N' Roses were huge. Guns N' Roses were huge. I was
Guns N' Roses. Appetite for Destruction, one of my first albums that I bought. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I just saw them after 40 years. I mean, I am 42, but I just saw them for the first time in Athens, in Greece this summer, and it was incredible.
Nice.
Yeah. When did you start your first band, Jen? In the 90s, maybe?
My first band was, I think I was 12. I actually played a gig with my dad's band back in the days. So I was invited to play 2 songs with his band. And I remember I wrote a song called The World Isn't the Same. And I played and sang Pony Boy by Bruce Springsteen. It's like this cute little kid song. And I played those 2 songs before I even had a band. But then first time you get on stage, you get this, you smell that and you want to have that. Yeah. So I started a band with my best friend and her brother. Nobody was able to play any instruments by then. So I pretty much turned into a band leader at the age of 12. And we just played little concerts in the garage of my best friend's house there, and for the neighbors. And it was cute. It was really fun and cute. And we started writing a little bit, or I started writing and explaining the music to them. So that was my first band. I don't think we even had a name. I don't know. Then I had a couple of, like, you try out to become better, and different bands during teenage years. But I think the first real band that I established was back in the days, the all-girl tribute AC/DC band called Black Thunder Ladies.
Oh, I read that we were in AC/DC tribute band, but I didn't know that it was all-girl.
Yeah, it was an all-girl AC/DC tribute band, and we managed back in the days. I mean, the band is not active anymore, but we managed to, like, pretty much become part of the top 3 AC/DC bands in Europe. We played the Netherlands, we played Belgium, we played even flight shows, Switzerland, Austria, all over Germany. And it was a great learning experience for me, because that is the time when you learn, how to connect your cables, how the world actually is functioning when you are a female rock musician, especially electric guitar, because it's I always call it the sausage party. It is what it is. And, it's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong? Oh, can I say, sorry, I said
No, it's cool.
So, you learn how to, like, raise your elbows and go like, no, I can't do this. Because back in the days, what really shaped my entire character was you get on stage in front of, like, these biker guys, right? And you go on stage, and the first, I kid you not, like, the first 3 rows of people have all been standing there like this, and the look on their face was like, ugh, that's cute, like, girl that tried to play rock music, really? So I learned from a very young age that you always have to, like, kick ass and you have to, like, prove your skills and stuff. And I mean, it took us 3 songs, and everybody was, like, forgetting about the fact that we were girls, and everybody was, like, having a great time. Yeah. But still, this experience was something that shaped me as a person, for sure.
Yeah, but you had to work twice as hard from the boys in the other bands, Yeah.
Exactly. And I remember back in the days, I had a band. I was allowed to be part of a band called Knorkator, which is
What does it mean?
So in German, there's this term for, everything is, like, cool, and you say it's Knorke, and Knorkator is, like, everything is cool. And it's been a very interesting phase in my life as well, because I was like a guest guitar player in their band. They're still active to this very day, and I had the most ridiculous fun shows with those guys. And I remember we played a festival, and I walked off stage, and another guitar player walked up to me and said, "You looked great." And I'll never forget that, because in my mind, I thought to myself, why do you say I looked great? Why didn't you say you played great? You sounded great. You know, that's the stuff that I want to hear, not you looked great. What is that bullshit? And that even more impacted my character, because I see, especially nowadays in terms of social media, TikTok, Instagram, we have to post. I see so many female artists. To me, it looks cheap, and it's taken the effort of like testosterone-driven likes, and I don't like that. You will never see me pose in underwear just for the sake of likes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That gives away. I have less respect for people who do that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of girls jumping on that train, trying to like gain fellowship and
popularity. Yeah.
And I don't like that about our world these days, because it should be about the music and the skills and the emotion and the art, not about how much or not much I wear. And I've always been like on a path where I want to convince people by my playing and the music.
Yeah, and you're doing it great for the last 20 years.
Oh my God, don't say that. 20 years. I'm 40. Can you believe it?
I'm 42, so yeah, we're around the
same age. Yeah.
I read that you, though I know both bands, and I even saw Rage. You played in Rage, right?
I started out, actually, this is a funny story. Back in the days, that was my first real tour, like with a tour bus and everything. And
like
I was
band, right.
And I was doing well back in the days. They had quite some success, and I was doing merchandise for them.
Oh, okay.
Which is also, I believe, a very important thing that most kids nowadays are being misled, because
what year was that? I saw them in 2001.
Oh God.
Maybe we were on the same festival. I saw them 2001 in Ziget Festival in Budapest.
No, it was 2005, I believe.
Okay.
And so, nowadays kids do their TikTok videos and they go viral, and out of a sudden they have popularity and a record label deal. So from my honest experience, I am like, you have to work your way up there. I did merchandise, I did tour managing, I did guitar teching, I did, being a hand on stage. I did all that. And so I learned a lot. I gained a lot of skills in all kinds of like different departments when it comes to the music business. And I truly believe that this is also something that nowadays kids don't get to experience very often anymore, because, your video goes viral, you're a superstar.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's healthy. So with them back in the days with Rage, I did this first European tour. I think it was 5 weeks on a tour bus with 22 snoring guys, that was an experience. And I just carried all the merchandise and sold merchandise. And then that evolved into like me doing guest vocals. We wrote songs together, I was part of like the background vocals and like the guest singing and stuff. I remember the biggest show we played was Wacken. I mean, Wacken is like the...
Yeah, I saw some footage. Yeah, I saw some footage from that. It was... Yeah. You're singing great. I didn't know that you sing that great.
Thank you so much. Well, my latest work as a vocalist was I sang the solo album of Mike Mangini called Invisible Signs, and it just got out in November.
I saw that.
And I'm very proud of that, because I worked tight together with Mike, and we've been on FaceTime and Zoom calls, and he watched me as I recorded on my DAW, and he could like, oh, try this, try that.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that too, but I thought that you are also playing guitar there, or you just singing on that album.
I actually did on one song, because Mike and I discussed the song structures, not song structures. Yeah. He wrote all the music.
Yeah.
But whenever something stood out for me, like, in this intro, something is missing. We need something. And he's like, well, why don't you play guitar? And I'm like, really? So I'm very glad. Actually, like tonight, on this day when we record this video, tonight my vlog is premiering on my YouTube channel, where I got to hang with Gus G, who, on the other hand, played
Greece, from Thessaloniki. He's just at 200 kilometers from me. You know.
Oh my God! Well, not right now because he's on tour, and I saw him like
Firewind.
and I saw him like a week ago. And Gus and I are friends, and he was the solo guitar player on Mike Mangini's album. So I'm very, very proud to be on an album with Gus, because he's a fantastic guy and such a great player.
Yeah, great player. I will share that link when your vlog is up.
Cool, thank you.
With the podcast.
Perfect, thank you so much.
So love it that you play with Mangini, because he used to play with Steve Vai, with your guitar idol. You know, it's like
and that was actually the first show when I saw Mike for the first time. I was a kid, and my dad took me to the G3 show back in the days when Mike was playing with Steve Vai. Yeah. And that was my first real guitar show. And I remember me standing there as a child on the front of the stage, you know, looking up, and oh my God, all these players. Awesome. There's something about Mike, what I realized, like if he hits the golden plates, there's like this psh, psh. If he hits that white thing in the middle, it's like pah.
Yeah.
You know, I realized what a drummer does, and that was that Steve Vai show. And funny enough, Mike Keneally was Steve Vai's second guitar player, the Hat, back in the days. Yeah. And I'm going to play 2 shows with him in a couple of days, actually.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Very exciting. In Germany, 2 shows? Yeah?
No. This is all part of the tour that's coming up in the States.
We'll talk
I'm about to leave in 6 days. Yeah. And actually, now in a week, I'm going to be in the States. And the funniest thing about this tour, it's together with my best friend, Travis Larson, who is famously known for rock, fusion, prog, instrumental music. Yeah. This is so not my world, right? So if he goes like, oh, do you know this Rush song? Do you know that? I'm like, no. Hey, do you know Five Finger Death Punch? Do you know Slipknot? He's like, no. So we learn from each other, right? Yes. Although I try to like be as diverse as I can with my musical endeavors. But I'm going to travel there, and we're going to be on the road for 5 weeks. And the funniest thing about this tour is actually the first show. Because I leave Germany at 1:25 p.m. at around noon. Next Friday. I save time while I fly west. I land in Los Angeles at 7:35 p.m. in the evening. I'm going to run through customs, grab my bag, throw the bag into like a cab or an Uber, drive to the venue, walk into the venue while Travis is already playing with my suitcase and my guitar, set up and jump on stage. After what's that, like 30 hours of traveling.
That's the whole idea, right? Yeah.
That's amazing, and I love Inzenity like that.
That will be, I think that will be very awesome if you pull it off. I think, I hope the planes...
Or terrible.
I hope the planes won't screw it up, you know, the plane lines. Finger crossed to work out like it should.
Yeah, I know. So it even says on the tour list, it even says like featuring special guest Jennifer Majura if the plane lands on time.
only the first date, right? And then
only the first day, of course. Yeah. And then we continue. We're going to play a lot of shows in California. We're going to play in Montana. We're going to play Wyoming, Arizona, Nevada, Florida.
So you have about a month through USA, about a month too, right? Starting from
we're going to be
15th of March, right?
Yes, March 15th, and pretty much 1 month, like 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah. It's a cool mixture. You know, I'm looking forward to this tour because with this idea and this event idea that we have, it's different. It's not a clinic vibe where you stand there and present your gear and talk and educate. It's not just a show where you just play song after song after song. Yeah. But we call it an evening with. And the cool thing about this evening with concept is you're not just a spectator, you're the audience which creates the show together with us. There are a couple of surprises. People will get to pick songs that Travis and I are going to jam to. And, you know, who knows what that'll be? It could be a blues, it could be a bossa nova, who knows? and people are able to like watch me paint live on stage. I'm gonna bring an acrylic painting tools and stuff.
You're a painter?
It's for fun, you know.
I'm also a painter. I'm also a painter, by the way.
Of course. Dude, we have to be best friends from today on.
I finished Art Academy, so yeah, I am painting.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to be painting live on stage, and by the end of the show, people can bid on that painting. We have one show where we're going to donate the money for like a charity that helps autistic kids.
Whoa, I love it.
Yeah, and it's going to be like very, very interactive and funny. There's going to be tour stories. There's going to be laughs. Travis is going to play some of my music. I'm going to play some of Travis' music.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a really, really cool hang instead of just being the monkey that performs for the audience. You know, the audience is part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that concept. I love it. The only time I saw painting and music together, it was Kiss. Tried to have some painter opening for them. You saw that on the last tour they did?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Or two tours before the last tour. There was
what kind of painting?
There was a guy up on stage opening for them. He was painting with the music background, and then he goes off, and then Kiss start playing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He stole my idea.
It was like an every night of the tour, you know.
That's going to happen with us too. Every night we bought canvases, we bought acrylic paint and the brushes and everything and the tools. And that's the funniest thing ever because Travis is my best friend pretty much, and we talk on the phone all the time. And when we spoke about ordering canvases, I'm like, isn't that the oddest tour preparation of your life? Because it sure the hell is mine. It's like I never ordered canvas and acrylic paint for a tour.
Yeah,
it's going to be great fun. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Art goes together like this. So yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Back in the day, I wanted to ask you about Rage. You told me about Rage. Did you record the albums with them? Yeah.
Actually, oh man, it's been so long. I think I was part of 3 albums with definitely background vocals.
Yeah.
And like a little solo spot on Lord of the Flies was one of the great hits, and Empty Hollow was one of the great hits. And yeah, it was an interesting time, and I learned a lot. I'm thankful for that. You know, everything that I get to be a part of in my life, I am thankful because everything is a learning curve that gains me more skills. And I learned from a lot of things that happened in my life, even from my students in my music school.
Oh, you have a music school now?
I own a music school and I'm teaching guitar, bass, a little bit of bass, not really because I'm not a bass player, but also like I'm giving vocal coaching lessons. I have interesting requests for like learning how to produce because I'm also producing and songwriting, recording, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've got this little music school, and it's I've got the best students in the world.
It's stationed in USA or in Germany?
No, it's in Germany. It's in Germany, and yeah.
And you're doing you're traveling a lot between USA and Germany, right?
Not anymore. I must say, I think 2019 was the craziest year where I altogether maybe spent 6 or 7 weeks in Germany, and the rest of that I was touring.
Yeah.
I'm pretty glad, to be honest, that I don't have to do the pond hopping every month now.
Yeah.
It feels good to be home for a while, to be really, really honest. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to go back because the US is like a second home for me. So
yes.
Yeah.
So you have the school in Germany, and it's a physical school or online?
Oh yeah. No. People can go there. You can walk in and say, hi, Jen.
Oh, great. Love it. That's great. A friend of mine who we used to play together in a band. I'm a drummer.
Okay.
So back in the day, like 20 years ago, he lived a little bit like a year in Germany, and he brought CDs from Equilibrium. I remember them as a band. We used to listen to them together with him, and I wanted to ask you about them. What did you do in the band? Were you like a member or?
I don't think this band has members, to be honest.
Really?
It's one guy, and that guy only. And let's just say we had some issues.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, but I read about it. I didn't know that you were in that band.
Yeah, the thing is, I should probably not say that, but whatever you read online, when bands tell you, it's been like, everybody's fine, everybody's still friends. I'd say in a lot of those cases, this is just to keep the ball low and just not have like this drama and war, But but in that case, I mean, I was pretty much playing all over Europe with those guys for a year. And then I decided to leave because I actually had to pay my bills, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know about the story because I knew the band, but I didn't know you were in. I just read like a couple days ago that you were in the band.
Yeah. I played the bass, and the funny thing is, like I just said, I'm not a bass player. A bass player thinks different, hears different, moves different. I am not a bass player, dude. The hell, I'm a guitar player. I'm a show off. Like, I can't be a bass player. It was never my instrument. Like, I can play the bass, like every guitar player can, but do I feel like a bass player? Do I sound like a bass player?
Yeah.
No.
I get it. You entered Evanescence in the 2012,
15,
something 15. So you two albums. Solo albums before you entered, right?
Yes. I mean, my second solo album, Inzenity, hold me prepared.
I saw that video, Inzenity.
Yeah, my second solo album, Inzenity, came out in 2017, and I couldn't be prouder of this one. You get a lot of, like, let me show you, it's a digipack. You get a lot of pictures. This is the only sexy picture that I ever took. Going back to our conversation began with, this is the only one. It's a couple of songs on there I wrote, and I pretty much did everything on that album, sang, played the guitarist. I had beautiful guest collaborations. So there's Jan Zerfeld from the band Panzer Ballet playing a solo. I had Jeff Waters, who's a good friend of mine, playing a guitar solo. Alex Skolnick of Testament playing a solo. Matthias E. Eklund of my second favorite thing, Free Kitchen, the Swedish band Free Kitchen. And and a lot of people ask me, like, why do you do all that name dropping in terms of like having other players play solos on my album? And I said, this is not name dropping. This is friends that I decided to create my album with together. I also did a very exciting crowdfunder for this album, which I thought is going to be like, nobody gives a shit, to be honest. But by the end of this crowdfunder, I almost made like 25 grand or something. Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists nowadays feel a little bit weird about crowdfunders, Kickstarters, and stuff like that. But to be honest, I see it less artists begging fans for money to be able to work. I see it more like, I create this entire thing together with all of you. I like to have fans and listeners be a part of what I do. Yeah. I don't want to be the artist that is mystique and don't touch me, don't reach me, I never answer your messages. I don't like this kind of behavior, and I am not like that. So I like to be friendly and communicate and grow with others together.
Jen, right? That's how I contacted you, and you were like, are you spontaneous? Can we do that?
I was so sorry I missed your message. I'm like, how could I just oversee that? I'm so sorry that it took me a while.
No, but I used that thing that you put on a story to write you,
I know, and that's when I saw your message, and I'm wait a minute, what did you do? And I'm sure I saw it like right before I fell asleep or something. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. And then, I'm so sorry it took me a while, but hey, here we are.
Of course, we are giving a great chat, and thank you for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so after the two albums, you had the solo albums, you entered Evanescence. You had a great run with them for about 7 years, maybe? Yeah?
Yeah, it was a great time, yeah.
And Evanescence thing got you maybe people to know you better. and then it ended, and then you reinvented yourself, right?
Did I?
I think you.
What did I do?
You have a project. Well, Manjiniting now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a project. How to End. What's that?
Wow, you did your homework, huh? How we end. How we end. It's very interesting because the press always.
I saw 2 videos of How We End. Yeah.
Yeah, we get 3 singles out, and
okay.
we're currently working on the album, which probably is going to be available soon. I don't know. I'm a little bit out of that right now because not out of the band, but out of the whole How We End scene because I'm so busy with prepping this upcoming tour. But the funny thing is, the press puts it like Jennifer Majura's new band. I was the last member that got asked to join the band. It's not my band.
Okay.
People always go like, "Oh, Jennifer Majura's new band," and I'm like, actually, I'm just the guitar player in this band, you know, and like, it's just funny to me. Yeah, we're right now working on finishing the album, and then we'll see.
So you're a member of that band, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's just a project.
It's hard to tell because every member in that band has their own endeavors and bands, and I mean Diva is such a sweetheart, but she's in Bloodhunter, which is her priority. Jake E is such a great vocalist and such a fantastic human, but he's busy with his band Syra. Tom, the guitar player, is right now on tour with Primal Fear. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
And so I see it more as I would love this to be like a real band with available members, but I see rockets and stones pretty much because everybody is so busy doing something already. So it's hard to find that little gap. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Are you trying to, besides that band or a project, you trying to make your own band right now or something like that? To reinvent yourself? After
be honest,
Evanescence? Yeah.
Pretty much for a year and a half. I had the feel of like, wow, I've got all the freedom in the world. Now I can actually put time into writing a 3rd solo album. And the weirdest thing happened, like right after that whole thing happened with the band, I was stuck in this writer's block thing because I did write, but it was not me. It felt wrong. Like the pieces that I wrote one song called Testicles, inspired by Devin Townsend. This just sounded so wrong. Oh God, Devin, if you see this, I'm sorry. No, but the thing is, like, Testicles was like me thinking about reinventing myself, just to say what you just said. And it's like, let me live inside your testicles to recreate my existence. Let me live inside your uterus and define me new. That was the idea. So it's not about some dirty
it's
stuff or something.
It's philosophical, yeah.
A little bit. And so that was one song that I put out. But after that, I started writing music, and it was like odd because I sat down and I said to myself, I'm going to write whatever comes out of me. Like, I'm not trying to sound like this or like that song or like this band. Yeah. And I just wrote. Afterwards, I had no clue what that is. So I sent it to friends. Like, I'm very good friends with Bumblefoot, Ron Bumblefoot, who played in Guns N' Roses for a while.
Yeah, who plays with Dino. I know Dino personally.
Yeah. He's a friend. Of course, Dino is a sweetheart. I love him. Dino's good. And so I sent it to him, and he said, wow, that sounds like Pink Floyd. And let me tell you, I should probably not say that, but I hate Pink Floyd. It's not my music. I can't listen to Pink Floyd. And I'm like, oh my God. So if I don't think about what to write, I sound like something that I hate. Not hate, but I don't like them. And so I was trying to be like more metal. Out of a sudden, I wrote a black metal track, you know, and I'm like, why am I writing a black metal track? That's not me. It needs to be happier. So I wrote like a 70s disco, and I'm like, that's not me either. And I was losing my mind until when I hit that moment of like, you know what? Stop writing right now. You need a break. Just allow yourself a break, and inspiration and creativity will come instead of forcing it out. And because I don't do anything that's mediocre. If I'll do it, I want to do it 110%. And that was just not. fine writing.
No, you don't need to force it because you already have a project. You have Mangini now, so things happened before, after Evanescence. Like this year and a half, 2 years. A lot of things happened for you, so you're just waiting for your muse to start writing solo stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm totally fine with that.
Of course.
I mean, I had some writing and recording and producing to do for this upcoming tour that I do with Travis Larson.
Yeah.
But as endeavors of like a third solo album, I'm sorry, guys. This is, first of all, the last solo album. And maybe one day there's going to be the third one, which is, I got the title though already. I'm going to call it Genius.
It sounds great. It sounds great.
So I got the title, but I got no music.
it will come sometime in the next years. I sure.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Sure. We'll see. Honestly, right now I'm very, very happy with just like living off the stuff that I already wrote, performing that live, different kinds of audiences, and trying out this new concept, An Evening With. In the US first, because the plan is to bring it to Europe as well.
Maybe even Europe is even better for doing An Evening With. We Europeans are like more into going to theaters and stuff, and like
maybe
we like to sit and watch stuff,
I mean, the long-term plan is like this 5-week run that we're about to do now in the US is going to be a test run. And we are partially sponsored by Electro Voice. And so it's going to be like music stores, it's going to be theaters, it's going to be rock pubs, it's going to be all kinds of like different venues.
Everything,
Which for me personally is like one of the biggest deals that I'm looking forward to, because if you play in a band and you play, those little pubs all the time, you dream of playing stadiums and arenas.
Yeah.
I can say I did both. I played stadiums and arenas, and I also played like little tiny Irish pubs. And if I have to take a step back now, like hovercraft over myself and make a decision in which venue I like myself better, I truly have to say it's the smaller club shows, because what is missing when you are in this giant production and you perform to like 60,000 people, it's so hard to find a connection for that energy exchange with your audience.
Yeah.
Because I have bad eyes. I had problems even seeing the first row because they were so far away. And I'm 100% more nervous when I know I have to play in front of 80 people instead of 80,000 people.
Yeah.
80,000 people gives you that feeling of like, okay, I'm going to walk on stage, and it's like, okay, curtain opens, perform. Afterwards, curtain closes, and you go backstage.
Yeah.
With an intimate show, let's say up to like 200, 300 people, you are so in their face and they are so in your face that you cannot hide. You cannot hide behind a giant production. You're there and you're real, and the moment is being created with them, and I like that. I'm going to be so nervous on this tour, but I love it.
Jen, did you see bands, for example, huge bands that play with backing tracks? They can do that on arenas, but they cannot do that in small clubs. You cannot.
Well, you could
in a club. I don't know.
You could, and even I'm going to use backing tracks, because this concept of An Evening With, that's why it's so approachable for promoters and clubs and venues, is we're going to travel just 2 people, 2 pedal boards, 2 guitars, and 1 suitcase, and that's it. And it's just 2 of us.
It depends what you are going to use, like a harmony, like that's what I'm saying. Not the faking of whole vocal and whole guitar.
That's bullshit. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this, because I've never done a tour like this upcoming one, and it's going to be very, very diverse from the venue locations.
Yeah.
And so we all have our backing tracks, and so of course when I play a song of Inzenity, I'm gonna have like drums. We all have drums as backing tracks because we don't bring a drummer with this. And also the bass is coming from the samples and tracks and stuff. And I have harmonies because I'm a sucker for big vocal harmonies, like Queen, like Extreme King's X. That's my jam. I love vocal recordings like that
and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like layers and layers of vocals, and my music is like that. And so I have to have those harmonies on the backing tracks, right? And it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'm counting the hours.
I love it that you're psyched about this tour. I see your post. Love it that you're going on a tour. When we enter this video, I mean, when we run it, it will be already about 5 days in the tour or 6. So yeah, I might share in this video. I might share some pictures of the tour or videos or something.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to ask you about the recording industry. I always ask my guests that what is more better for you, suitable CDs, vinyls, or digital Spotify thing or stuff like that? What do you mean? What do you think about that?
What kind of question is that?
I don't know what.
Of course, vinyls. I have a vinyl player. I have a turntable at home. I have all the great albums that I really love. I buy them on vinyl, like Free Kitchen. I have Annihilator. I have Testament. I have Winery Dogs. All that stuff. Like I have a vinyl collection. I love vinyl. It's the whole vibe around this, like opening it up, getting this, and you have something to grab and something to look at. You know, it's just like
and to smell.
Kids nowadays. Yeah, totally. Right. You open up like this, you unfold the whatever booklet thing, and you smell, and it's this whole vibe. And the thing is, what I believe like nowadays with downloading and streaming, the skip button is so easy. People don't experience listening to an entire album as an album. I mean, nobody does that anymore. Everybody puts out singles. But listening to an entire album from the first song to the last one is an experience. And that is something that the skip button nowadays is eliminating, because you can just like pick one song. And I think the art of listening to physical, grabbable, physical albums is just something different. It's a different experience that comes with it than streaming. You know, I don't use Spotify. I don't have an account. I don't support this.
Yeah, I get it. But your music must be on Spotify if you want to be like recognized.
Relevant.
Stuff, you know? Yeah, relevant. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
That's maybe sad, and maybe sad stuff. Maybe a plus. I don't know.
Well, I think there are the pros and there are the cons nowadays in the music industry. I think it has never been easier for artists to get their music out. That's a given fact. I think labels are mostly outdated nowadays, because you can do that by yourself as an artist if you got the balls and knowledge how to like push your product, which is called music. But a lot of artists miss that business part, because as an artist, you are this chaotic, creative, business numbers, stuff like that. And you don't see your art as a product, which you try to sell. Most artists see their music as like passionate, and that's my baby, and I do that too. But at the same time, I'm like, but I need to pay my bills, so I need to sell that. And that is the con of nowadays streaming and downloading industry is, first of all, because it's so easy to get your music out, there's so much. How can those kids nowadays have like a favorite band? How? It's impossible, because every day there are like thousands and thousands of songs.
Yeah, they're just skipping, as you said. Yeah.
Exactly. And you don't have that time to dive into like let's say like me as a child with Bon Jovi. I was a giant Bon Jovi fan as a kid, but kids nowadays don't have favorite bands. They don't even have favorite songs anymore, because it's too much.
What's your best album from Bon Jovi? Best album?
I say Slippery and Wet or New Jersey. Both. I love both.
I love the first one the most,
Oh yeah, interesting.
I love which song? Burning for Love. It's maybe best song from that album, or Roulette.
Roulette is a fucking great song. I love that one.
Yeah, the riff is incredible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's so much fun to play.
The whole
era of Bon Jovi back in the days when they were still like a rock band because now they play radio edit BS.
Yeah, okay.
Back in the days, it was just so much fun to play that,
Yeah.
And even up to the Keep the Faith era. I mean,
Keep
that
the
was
Faith
like,
is
whoa,
the best,
who are you?
the last good album for me.
Exactly. And then there was These Days, and I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like Bon Jovi anymore. And then everything past that, it's like
sounds like a country album or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. It was not Bon Jovi, and I miss the old Bon Jovi.
Me too. Yeah, I was a fan back in the first 5 albums. Yeah,
totally.
Yes.
Hey, man, I tell you, we gotta be best friends from today on.
Of course. same music taste back in the day.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. What
have you been? Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, have you been into Judas Priest or Iron Maiden?
I opened for Judas Priest with my band in 2015. Yeah.
Wow, look at you! Very cool.
We opened in Belgrade, in Serbia. 8,000 people. It was incredible. That was the high of our career with the band.
Wow! Congratulations.
Judas Priest and Halloween from Germany.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I know the boys.
Yeah. The guys. Yeah, they were great. Andy Deris and everyone. Yeah, they were incredible. So Judas Priest or Maiden? I love Judas Priest more.
Okay.
You, Maiden?
I have no connection whatsoever to both of the bands. And when people are like, yeah, but you're a metalhead, everybody refers to Jennifer Majura, the German metal guitar player. Actually, I'm not that metal. If you listen to my music and follow what I do, I am mostly hard rock and prog metal, but not heavy metal. Like, I don't know why people
but who do you choose
with that term.
Who do you choose from Priest and Maiden?
I would say Iron Maiden because I had Nico McBrain joining my 1 minute jams. And
I saw those clips. Yeah.
That was something, I think probably the best thing that I have done, first of all, during the pandemic time. And second of all, it's also the reason why I got to know Travis Larson. And probably after Nico McBrain joined the 1 minute jams, I mean, there had been like so many players. I mean, I just to name a few, it was Alex Skolnick, Mike Mangini, of course, Gus G, Andy from Portnoy, and my God, there was so many. Richie Kotzen joined, and David Townsend joined, and I had so many different, mostly metal players that were performing these funny, and they're not funny, but these happy 80s pop tracks, like guilty pleasure tracks.
I saw them during the pandemic. It was it was fantastic.
And
it was incredible.
And the funny reason why that whole thing started was, and it's probably the best thing I've ever done. The funny thing why they started was back in the days, YouTube had this like when you premiered a video, they had this countdown music, and the countdown was 2 minutes. Every video was 2-minute countdown. And I said to myself, everybody puts out those long collaboration videos from home. Yeah, that's nice. I know now how your living room looks like, right? Nobody wants to see that whole song. So I said to myself, I'm going to do something like that with various musicians, but it's going to be shorter than the YouTube countdown for every premiere. So people would sit there for 2 minutes waiting, and then bam, here's the 1 minute jam, done.
And finished.
So that's how the whole thing started.
Incredible.
And it just blew. It just grew so fast into something insane. And I was like, if I look back to those 1 minute jams now, I'm like, how the hell did I do this? I'm stunned by myself. I'm like, how?
But wait, you did a whole production? I mean, you mixed the tracks and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah? You personally,
so every week I had time to like do all the recordings and prep the arrangement to, I mean, a general song is like 3-4 minutes long. You have to press it and compress it into like a minute and a half max. And send out the tracks to the different players, mostly one drummer and a guitar player. I had Lindsay Schoolcraft who plays the harp. I had Jennifer Batten on guitar, Tom Coyle, Henrik Linder on bass. It's an insane list of people.
Yeah.
And I did prep the backing tracks, and I said to them, the big rule was always play whatever you want. You can play along and just copy what I did, but you can also like play on top. You can play ad libs. You can do whatever you want. I just want you to have fun. And everybody had a really good take on that, and it was such great fun. And I think I did 27 1-minute jams. So if you ever in a bad mood, go to YouTube, look up 1-minute jams. There's a playlist on my YouTube channel. Watch those songs, and you're gonna be like,
it's gonna be.
It's so good.
Yeah. Because there was also a pop songs, pop rock songs, and rock and roll. And everything.
Yeah, totally. It's like Huey Lewis and Elton John, and I had Mike Tirana.
Mike Tirana from Rage and from Master Plan.
Exactly.
A great drummer.
And Mike Tirana and Bumblefoot, Ron Bumblefoot Thal. They were 1-minute jam number 3, and we did I'm Still Standing better than I ever did. So cool. It was just a great time.
I loved. I think you did I Need a Hero, I think. You did it?
That was the one I did with Travis Larson. I need a hero.
Yeah.
And Travis and I, let me tell you the story why I know Travis and why he became one of my best friends.
Okay.
Because that's quite a story. So it was about the 1-minute jams, and I just started putting those out. And we actually physically got to know each other when we played at the X Jam at the NAMM show in Anaheim, California.
Yeah.
It's like a giant jam thing that goes around during the NAMM show.
For guitar players.
And I remember, everybody. There were drummers, there were bass players and guitar players. And so I was part of that. And I remember I started putting out those 1-minute jams. And one day Travis sends me a message. It was August 15th. I'll never forget that. I just came back from a birthday party. It was in the evening. And he sent me this message like, hey, I just want to let you know, I think it's really cool that you try to put out some positive vibes during this pandemic and blah, 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 blah. And my answer was, I just got hit by a bat. And because I live in a castle, and there was like motion light, and it just blew up, and the bat was scared and got a shock, and it just hit me in the eyeball. So like the animal, not the baseball bat, but the animal.
Yeah, of course.
so I got hit by a bat in the face. So my reply to his, I think that's amazing what you do. I just got hit by a bat. So he immediately called me, and that was the beginning of our friendship, because I think we pretty much kept talking every day since then. And and it's cool because, Travis and I come from such different worlds. I am connected to this metal hard rock world. He's connected to this prog fusion world. And I truly believe, like, if you surround yourself with musicians from different genres, you can always learn. I learned so much from him, and I hope he learned somewhat stuff from me, and I never think that one should stop learning. As soon as you think you know it all, dude, you're done. That's not cool, because life is a learning curve, so is music, and one can never know it all. And I love to learn new stuff, so I'm learning about fusion now. And
I love that because you're German. There is a lot of German prog back in the 70s, so very good German prog bands,
Sure.
Or krautrock, krautrock bands.
Oh, I know them.
yeah. Like,
wasn't that punk?
It was like a pre-punk, I think. It was.
Okay.
There is a little bit progressive in there, There is a lot of weird stuff in that. Also, electronics use and weird.
I'm so bad at stuff like that.
Very weird. Hey, when we're here, what are your favorite German bands? Because I love a lot of the German heavy metal. I mean, there is some huge bands. There is some.
I mean, okay. Speaking of huge bands, I'd say, of course, I have my phase of intensively listening to Rammstein.
Okay.
Because they created that sound. I'm friends with Alex from Eisbrecher.
Okay.
Which is all this new German heavy metal kind of style.
Yeah, a little bit industrial. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but German bands. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not into like heavy metal is not my thing. Like Halloween, I love the guys, but I don't listen.
Something like Bonfire or Scorpions or stuff like that, Not like hard rock, hard and heavy, No?
My friend Digi plays an Axis. They're like a power metal band.
Axis, yeah, I know.
Destruction.
All
Destruction, thrash metal.
Yeah.
That's something. Creator, yes.
Yeah.
I really have to think now, man, because I never put them in the corner of like, these are the German bands, these are the English bands, I never do that. So I'm like, but I think like, well, if I have to name German bands that I'm listening to, it's definitely Destruction, Creator, those two, definitely Rammstein and Icebreaker. Okay, but that's...
You're more into the thrash, into the harder sound. Yeah.
Like, I'm not this happy metal kind of person.
Yeah.
Happy metal, you know?
Oh, power heavy, power metal, yeah. They call it power metal.
It's not
totally I get it.
I would not listen to that. I can totally go and watch a concert and be like having a great time, but it's nothing that I would like go into a store and buy a vinyl. Yeah. Let's put it that way. Otherwise, everybody's gonna hate. Like, Jennifer Majura hates power metal. No, I don't.
Of course. There was a good band after Halloween, Gamma Ray. They were pretty good.
Oh yeah, Kai. Yeah, sure.
Kai
and his son actually has a band now too, right?
Really? I don't know.
Induction. Yeah, a friend of mine actually. Here, let me help you out. Induction had a guitar player which is called Marcos Rodriguez.
Okay.
And he used to play in Rage.
Oh, really?
Just to close the cycle.
Oh man, a lot of circles are closing in.
Totally. The world is a village, I tell you.
Yeah. Everyone will find everyone who knows someone, you know.
Yep. Totally.
Jen, what are your future plans, for the end of the interview or podcast? Future plans for you, besides the
I want to write a cooking book.
Cookbook.
Because during the pandemic, I started cooking so much, and I want to write a cooking book. I want to knit more socks, and I want to conquer world domination with this concept, an evening with.
That is a great.
Oh, and I want to do more funny videos with my little Cookie, who's my budgie. If you're not familiar with my budgie Cookie, he's an internet star. He's a shooting star. On TikTok, over 70,000 followers. On Instagram, he's got more followers than Mike Portnoy's dog, Mickey. So I'm very proud of my little budgie Cookie.
What is budgie?
What is the Cookie? Cookie is a male rainbow budgie, and his Instagram or TikTok is Cookie_the_eagle. Cookie the Eagle.
I will check it out.
He's hilarious. He talks all the time. He's swearing. He's like using swear words. He's actually having conversations with me. So this is going to be the hardest thing about this tour. I am visiting my parents right now because I'm dropping off Cookie for 6 weeks, and being 6 weeks without my budgie is going to be the hardest thing for me. And so I want to push his career a little bit. So when I retire, I can go and be like, Cookie, come on, make some money.
in about 30 years.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe 300.
You know what? Because you like cooking and cookbook, like you said. Maybe you can get to do something cooking up, like an opening for the evening, you know, for the concerts, you know, like combine those stuff, you know.
Oh, you gotta be, if you would know me better, you gotta be careful with suggesting stuff like that. Because I am crazy enough to do things like that.
Yeah.
That would be live cooking on stage, an evening with, and everybody in the audience get to eat.
Yeah. What you cooked.
Travis is gonna hate me if I ever like. He's gonna hate me when I suggest that to him.
Combine those stuff. Combine that what you love. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it.
Jen, we should finish up. Thank you very much for accepting my offer for the.
Thank you
podcast.
So much.
And we had a great talk and great laugh.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I follow you. I will share about your tour, and we'll talk soon again when you have some news.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Bye-bye.